Good morning, students. Myself Suraj, and today we are going to start a new chapter, atoms and molecules. This is very most important chapter. In this chapter, you will understand what is atom, what is molecule, how the atom is formed, what is the who discovered the atom, and what is the main purpose of atom. Okay. In the last video, you learned the chapter with your with the enthusiastics. So you have to learn this chapter again with your zeal and enthusiastics. And I would like to thanks to you and very good performance. You are doing very well. So read this chapter and that way. So first of all, we have to watch the topics we will do study in this chapter. The topic is introductions, then law of chemical combination, then law of conservation of mass, then law of constant proportions, then atoms, then Dalton atomic theory. These topics we will discuss in this video lecture. Okay, now start. First of all, introduction. What we are going to study about in the introduction? We will study about the atoms. What is the atoms? Okay, uh, atoms. Just read the theory. What is the atoms? The entire universe is composed of the matter and energy. Energy is the aptitude to network to perform a work. On the other hand, matter has the mass and the occupied space. All the students know very well in your you read the in your 8th class what is matter. Matter is a compound or matter is a substance that have some mass and occupy space. It is called matter. Okay, but Maharshi Kanad postulate that if we go on dividing the matter, we will derive the smaller and smaller particles. When we divide the any matter, we get the small particle, smaller particle, smaller particle, and the last we get the smallest particle. That smallest particle that we cannot be divided further again, that is called atom. That is called atom, or in Hindi we say parmanu. In Hindi we say parmanu. Okay, matter are composed of basic elements that cannot be broken down to the substance with different chemical and physical properties. Okay, this is a basic introduction. Means we can say Maharshi Kanad was the first scientist who discovered atom. Okay, now the second topic is law of chemical combination. What is the meaning of law of chemical combination? To understand the chemistry of the compound, it is essential to devise a theory that accounts for both the qualitative and the quantitative interpretation during the chemical changes. The, the law were laid down by the Antony Lavoisier. Law of chemical combination was given by the Antony Lavoisier. So a law of chemical combination is further divided into two categories. First one is law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion. Law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion. First we will study about the law of conservation of mass, then we will do study law of constant proportion. First, law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass, in the simplest way we can say that mass of the reactant and mass of the product is always constant in our chemical reactions. Means, okay, understand? Means you can say that mass of the reactant means, suppose you use the 20 gram of the reactant and in the product you will get 20 gram of the product. So the mass of the reactant and the mass of the product, means mass means weight. So mass of the weight reactant and the mass of the product both are the equal. The law states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. Total mass of the reaction is equal to the sum of the mass of the product and the mass of unreacted reactants. Okay, understand? Total mass of the reactant is equal to the total mass of the product. Okay, and for instance, the reaction of the carbon and the oxygen. Look at the chemical reaction. In the chemical reaction, you see carbon and the reaction between the carbon and the oxygen. It's give CO2. That is called carbon dioxide. So the mass of the carbon is 12 and the mass of the oxygen is 32. When we add, we got the 44. So the mass of the C plus O2 is 44 and the mass of the CO2 is 44. So the mass of the reactant and the mass of the product both are the same. Here we use the 12 gram of the carbon and 20 gram of the oxygen. After the reaction, the amount of the carbon dioxide product produced will be 44 gram, the sum total of the amount of the carbon and oxygen we used. Okay. Now the second law is law of constant proportions. Okay, law of constant proportions. First, what the theory says, the law states that a chemical substance, the elements are always present, always present in a definite proportions by mass. It is also termed as law of definite proportions. It is also termed as law of definite proportion. Now, the law of the constant proportions. Okay, again we read the theory. The law states that in the chemical substance, the elements are always present in a definite proportion by mass. It is also termed as law of definite proportion. The elements are always present in a definite proportion by mass. So it is termed as law of definite proportions. For example, okay, understand very okay. Now we are going to understand by the example. For instance, the ratio of the hydrogen and the oxygen. Ratio of the hydrogen and the oxygen in water is from 1:8. Okay, 1:8, and 1 gram of the hydrogen and the 8 gram of the oxygen make together 9 gram of the water. Okay, similarly, the ratio of the nitrogen and the hydrogen in the ammonia is 14:3. Look at that. Nitrogen and the hydrogen gives ammonia. So okay, so understand very well. Now our next topic is atoms. What is the meaning of atom? And we studied earlier. Massey Kara discovered the atom and the Parmanu. What is atom? The atom and the Parmanu are the same thing. Atom, the smallest particles. The smallest particle that cannot be divided further is called the atoms. It means we can say each and every matter contain a smallest particle, and this smallest particle is called atom. So according to John Dalton, all the elements, all the compounds, all the mixtures are composed of the small particles which cannot be further divided into the smaller particles. They are known as atoms. Means compound, substance, mixture, all the elements contain the smallest particle that cannot be further divided. It is called atoms. So you can understand, atom is the smallest particle of any substance. They are referred to as the basic building blocks of the elements or composed compound or mixtures. You can say in the buildings, brick. Brick is the smallest particle in the building. So you can say brick is the atom. Brick is the atom of the building. Okay. They are very small and their radius can be measured as nanometers. Atomic radius is measured in the nanometer. 1 nanometer means 10 to power minus 9 nanometer. Okay, 1 nanometer means 10 to power minus 9. 1 meter means 10 to power minus 3, and 1 micrometer means 10 to power minus 6. These are the basic units of the size of the atoms. Basically, size of the atom is 10 to power minus 10 meter, and all the atoms contain the nucleus. Nucleus is the center part of the atom. So the radius, or you can say size, so the radius of the atom is 10 to power minus 15 meter. Okay, this is the size of radius. You understand very well. Size of the atom is 10 to power minus 10 meter, and size of the nucleus is 10 to power minus 15 meter. Okay, understand very well. Okay, I think a better understanding what is the atom and what is the size of the atom, and what is the size of the nucleus. Nucleus is the center part of the atom. Now we will discuss the theory of Dalton atomic theory, means Dalton atom theory. Dalton is a scientist who described about the structure and about some postulates about the atoms. Dalton, look at the structure, look at the Dalton. He the best scientist. He was the best scientist, and his name is Dalton. And Dalton atomic theory. We are going to study about the. In this theory, we will study about the properties of the atom. Okay, the main postulates was given by the Dalton is given here. First property: Matter are composed of very tiny particles called atoms. All the matters, because matter occupies space and having mass is called matter. So all the matter are composed of the very tiny particles called atoms. Okay. Point number second, these particles are too small to see and cannot be created or destroyed in the chemical reactions. Second point is that the meaning of second point is this is smallest particle. It means we are talking about the atoms. These particles means atoms neither be create nor be destroy in a chemical reactions. Means we cannot create the atoms. Atom is the smallest particle. Point number third, atom of the specific element are identical in mass and the chemical properties. Means same element has the same type of the atom. Different element has the different type of the atoms. Point number 4, atom of different element have different masses and different properties. Means atom of different elements or has a different atom of different element has different atoms. Means suppose we are talking about oxygen and nitrogen. Oxygen is the same oxygen and nitrogen are different elements. So all both the elements have the different atoms. But we're talking about the oxygen that I contain the oxygen, okay, and you contain the oxygen. Both are different, but both are the same because I took the oxygen and the oxygen is present at front of you. Okay, oxygen are the same because element same, so they have the same type of atoms. Okay, and different elements like nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, different elements have different atoms. Point number 5, atom combine in the ratio of the small whole number to form the compound. Different atoms combine to form compound. For example, atom of small oxygen and atom of another oxygen combine to form O2, O and O, O2. This is the compound. Okay. Point number 6, the relative number and the kind of the atoms are constant in a given compound. Okay, the relative number and the kind of the atoms are constant in a given compound. In a given compound, atoms are same. Okay, in a given compounds, for example, CO2 is a compound. So CO2 in the CO2 carbon has the same type of atoms. Now it's your homework time. Question number first, who discovered Parmanu, or you can say who discovered atom. Question number second, who gave the law of the chemical combination. Question number third, I think you know the answer, Anthony Lavoisier. Question number third, explain the law of the conservation of mass with example. Question number 4, write the main postulate of the Dalton atomic theory. Question number 5, what is atom. This is the 5 important questions based on this theory. Okay, so first of all you have to see the theory, then you can do these questions. Okay, and you have to do this question in your notebook. We will check it after your school reopen. And thank you so much for watching this video. Okay, take care and bye.